feels good to be sitting in front of a camera again and just speaking my mind and not having something prepared beforehand. And I think I'm going to start this little series where I just click record and I speak about what's on my mind. And I just came from the gym. So I'm completely winging it right now. And it feels good, I think. So I guess the topic of conversation today is resentment. And it's been something that's been on my mind for a while now because it's a part of this journey that I'm on, as we all are. Um, it's a part of me that I want to work on. I realize that I hold resentment toward some people in my life. And my list is a little bit longer than I would like it to be honest with you. So I want to share with you what I learned about resentment and some tips on how you can work on getting through it, getting over it, getting rid of it, whatever you want to call it. So if you were to ask me how I would define resentment, I would define it by that feeling that you have about a certain situation in your life or someone in particular that has hurt you in some way, shape, or form. And in that hurt, you kind of just you hold on to it for a long period of time. And then it festers into something worse and worse. And makes you become this person that has been hurt and this person that's willing to hurt others. Because in a way, in human nature, we want to get back at the thing that's hurt us, right? We want to make sure that we're even in some way, shape, or form. And I think if you don't work on that feeling and healing that part of you, what happens is you look to hurt those who unfortunately might be innocent. You end up being this person, this avatar who is angry, who is just extremely negative. So one of the things that I think is a perfect example of what is resentment is it's kind of like if a snake bites you, the snake bite alone isn't going to kill you. What's going to kill you is the poison from the bite. And that's another example, a perfect example of what resentment is. Me personally, I feel like mine comes from a place of rejection and abandonment. Those are my major two wounds in my life, my trauma wounds. And in the I'm sorry, not resentment, but in the abandonment and the rejection wound, you have a habit of feeling like you are alone, right? You're alone. And in this scenario, unfortunately, when it comes to any type of conflict between another person, you're never alone in that situation. That person feels a certain way and you feel a certain way. So, the best way for you to get through this is by being compassionate for not just yourself, but also the other person in that scenario. What could you have done that might have hurt them in some way, shape, or form? Again, going back to resentment, I feel like it's more of a way that we can defend ourselves, like a defense mechanism in a way. We could say, I was hurt this way, and this person did X, Y, and Z to me, and they're in the wrong and I'm the victim. But the reality of it is there are no victims, as harsh as that might sound. But hear me out. There are no victims. No matter what, people are acting on their own traumas. Just like right now, you're acting on your trauma. And unfortunately, you can't control what they do, but you can control on the level of growth that you have. So now I'm going to share some tips on how you can get through resentment. I've been following this YouTube creator for a while now. Her name is, or at least her YouTube channel name is My Crappy Childhood Fairy. And first of all, I love her name because it's hilarious and it's so perfect for the situation. And she talks about how one of the ways that you can get through resentment is by one of the things that she tells you to do is to write down the reason why you're angry, the reason why you're feeling the emotions that you're feeling, the person that's done it to you, the situation where it's happened, why you feel like you feel that way, setting down the pen or pencil, and then meditating on that. And in that act alone allows you to release those emotions and get it onto the paper, get it out of you and onto something else. So, in sitting down and taking your time and doing that, it also helps you to realize just how minuscule that particular act is or for that particular situation is. And I know that some of you may have some major things that have happened to you, and I'm not at all trying to minimize it, but it is different and it looks different when you put it on paper. Another tip is something that we try to avoid doing, and that is just simply speaking to the person about how we feel about them, speaking to the person that have hurt us. And I know in certain situations that's just not possible for whatever reason, but that goes right back to the first thing that I mentioned, and that is getting it down on paper and getting it out of us. So that's just a couple of tips for you to use to get through the resentment. Obviously, putting yourself, and this is if you really want to go extreme, putting yourself in the position of being in the place that has hurt you in the past. If you're, mentally ready for that at least. And that is kind of throwing yourself into the fire in a way and just dealing with it. Instead of secluding yourself and isolating and, you know, uh, writing all the different ways that someone has hurt you and why the reason why you dislike them is valid and things like that. So I just wanted to share that with you. And again, I'm going to make this a series. Every time I learn something new about myself or my healing journey, then I would love to share it with you guys. And again, look into My Crappy Childhood Fairy. She has an amazing channel. There's a billion other channels out there too that talk about this, but I really want to put that plug in there. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I just want to say thank you again for existing. And this is me signing off.